4 specific nuts can dramatically improve circulation and intimacy after 60, yet most men never hear about this from their doctors. While millions spend fortunes on pills and procedures, these everyday foods naturally restore blood flow where it matters most. I'm Dr. Miller, and after 3 decades treating men's health, I've seen these simple changes transform lives in ways that surprise even me. The first mistake I see men make is dismissing the earliest signs of circulation decline as simply getting older. Many men come to me after months or even years of ignoring subtle changes, convinced that what they're experiencing is inevitable and irreversible. I frequently hear the same refrain in my office. "Doc, I figured this was just part of aging." Men notice fewer morning erections, less firmness during intimacy, or that achieving arousal takes longer than it used to. Instead of recognizing these as early warning signals, they accept them as permanent changes and stop paying attention to what their body is trying to tell them. What most men don't realize is that circulation problems don't start in the heart or major arteries. They begin in the smallest blood vessels first, particularly those that supply the penis. These tiny vessels are like canaries in a coal mine, showing the first signs of vascular decline long before larger circulation problems become apparent. When blood flow becomes restricted in these delicate vessels, it creates the very symptoms men are dismissing as normal aging. The physical consequences of ignoring these early signs extend far beyond the bedroom. As circulation continues to decline, men experience increasing fatigue, reduced mental clarity, and a general sense that their body isn't responding the way it used to. What started as occasional difficulty becomes consistent struggle, and what felt manageable becomes a source of constant frustration. The emotional impact runs even deeper. Men begin to withdraw from physical intimacy, not because they've lost interest, but because they've lost confidence. They start avoiding situations where their body might not respond, creating distance in relationships that were once close and connected. This withdrawal often leads to feelings of inadequacy, depression, and a sense that their masculine identity is slipping away. The solution lies in recognizing these early warning signs for what they truly are: your body's request for better circulation support. Walnuts contain high levels of L-arginine, an amino acid that directly supports nitric oxide production in your blood vessels. Just a small handful of walnuts daily can begin to restore the natural dilation and flexibility your smallest vessels need to function properly. When you start this intervention early, you're not just addressing current symptoms, you're preventing the progressive decline that makes the problem much harder to reverse later. But even if you've caught these early signs and started supporting your circulation, there's another common mistake that can completely undermine your efforts, and it involves how most men approach treatment when they finally decide to take action. When men finally decide to address their circulation and intimacy concerns, the second critical mistake they make is immediately turning to prescription medications as their only solution. This approach, while understandable, creates more problems than it solves and keeps men trapped in a cycle of dependency rather than true healing. The statistics tell a troubling story. Research shows that while prescription ED medications work for many men initially, up to 40% experience significant side effects, and nearly 30% discontinue use within the first year due to complications or dissatisfaction with results. What's more concerning is that these medications don't address the underlying vascular health issues that caused the problem in the first place. I regularly encounter men who have been on prescription medications for months or years, only to find that their underlying circulation continues to deteriorate. These medications work by temporarily forcing blood vessels to dilate, but they do nothing to heal the damaged vessel walls, reduce inflammation, or restore the natural mechanisms your body uses to maintain healthy blood flow. It's like using a tourniquet to fix a leaky pipe. It might work temporarily, but the fundamental problem remains untreated. The physical consequences of relying solely on prescription solutions extend beyond the immediate side effects many men experience, such as headaches, flushing, or dangerous blood pressure changes. Over time, the body can become dependent on these artificial interventions, and natural erectile function may actually decline further. Men find themselves needing higher doses or stronger medications to achieve the same results they once got naturally. The emotional toll is equally significant. Many men report feeling like they've lost their spontaneity and natural confidence. Intimacy becomes planned around medication timing, and there's always the underlying anxiety about whether the pill will work this time. Instead of feeling restored and confident, men often feel more disconnected from their natural sexual response than before they started treatment. Pistachios offer a fundamentally different approach to this problem. These nuts contain a unique combination of arginine, antioxidants, and healthy fats that work together to naturally restore your body's ability to produce nitric oxide and maintain vessel health. Clinical studies have shown that men who consume pistachios daily experience measurable improvements in erectile function within just 3 weeks. But unlike prescription medications, these improvements come from actual healing and restoration of natural function. The beauty of pistachios lies in how they address the root cause rather than masking symptoms. The arginine in pistachios provides your body with the raw materials needed to produce nitric oxide naturally, while the antioxidants help repair damaged vessel walls, and the healthy fats reduce inflammation throughout your cardiovascular system. This creates sustainable improvement that builds over time rather than temporary fixes that require constant intervention. However, even men who understand the value of natural approaches often make a third mistake that prevents them from seeing the full benefits of improved circulation. And this oversight involves a connection that most men never consider between their hormones and their vascular health. Have you ever wondered why some men seem to lose energy, focus, and sexual function all at the same time? The third mistake that sabotages men's efforts to restore intimacy and vitality is failing to recognize the crucial connection between hormones and circulation. Most men treat these as separate issues, but they're actually part of an interconnected system that either supports or undermines your overall health. A common pattern I observe involves men who experience what they describe as a gradual dimming of their vitality. They notice their energy levels dropping, their motivation waning, their mental sharpness declining, and their sexual response weakening, all seemingly happening simultaneously. Rather than recognizing these as related symptoms of hormonal and circulatory decline, they often assume they're dealing with multiple separate age-related problems. The medical reality is that testosterone and healthy circulation work together in ways most men never realize. Testosterone doesn't just affect libido and muscle mass, it plays a direct role in maintaining the health and flexibility of your blood vessels. When testosterone levels decline, the smooth muscle cells in your arteries become less responsive to nitric oxide, making it harder for blood vessels to dilate properly. At the same time, poor circulation reduces the delivery of nutrients and hormones throughout your body, including to the organs that produce testosterone, creating a downward spiral that accelerates with each passing month. Research published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology shows that men with low testosterone are 2.4 times more likely to develop erectile dysfunction, but the relationship works both ways. Men with circulation problems also show accelerated testosterone decline compared to those with healthy blood flow. This creates what medical professionals call a compound decline, where each problem makes the other worse. The physical consequences of ignoring this hormone circulation connection extend far beyond sexual function. Men experience persistent fatigue that doesn't improve with rest, difficulty building or maintaining muscle mass despite exercise, increased body fat, particularly around the midsection, and a general sense that their body isn't responding to their efforts the way it used to. Their recovery time from physical activity increases, their sleep quality deteriorates, and they find themselves needing more effort to accomplish tasks that once felt effortless. Emotionally, this compound decline creates a particularly challenging situation. Men often feel frustrated and confused because addressing one aspect of the problem doesn't seem to create the improvement they expected. They might improve their diet or start exercising more, but without addressing both the hormonal and circulatory components, their efforts yield disappointing results. This leads to discouragement, a sense of futility, and often the decision to simply accept decline as inevitable. Almonds provide a unique solution because they address both sides of this equation simultaneously. These nuts are rich in magnesium, zinc, and vitamin E, three nutrients that directly support healthy testosterone production. But almonds also contain monounsaturated fats and antioxidants that improve blood vessel flexibility and reduce inflammation in the arterial walls. When you consume almonds regularly, you're providing your body with the raw materials it needs to maintain both hormonal balance and vascular health. The magnesium in almonds is particularly important because most men over 60 are deficient in this crucial mineral. Magnesium serves as a cofactor in over 300 enzymatic reactions in your body, including those involved in testosterone synthesis and nitric oxide production. Just 1 ounce of almonds provides about 20% of your daily magnesium needs, along with the healthy fats your body uses to manufacture hormones and maintain flexible arteries. What makes almonds especially effective is their ability to support long-term hormonal and vascular health rather than providing temporary fixes. Unlike quick interventions that address symptoms, the nutrients in almonds help restore the underlying systems that maintain vitality, energy, and sexual function naturally. But there's a fourth factor that many men overlook entirely, and this deficiency is so common that it affects nearly 1 billion people worldwide, yet most men have never heard of it or had it tested. The fourth mistake that undermines men's efforts to restore circulation and vitality is one of the most overlooked in modern medicine: selenium deficiency. This trace mineral deficiency affects nearly 1 billion people worldwide, yet it's rarely tested for or discussed, even though it plays a crucial role in both vascular health and hormone production. What makes selenium deficiency particularly insidious is how it masquerades as general aging. Men experiencing selenium deficiency often report a collection of vague but persistent symptoms: unexplained fatigue that doesn't improve with rest, reduced mental clarity, decreased libido, and circulation problems that seem to resist other treatments. Because these symptoms develop gradually and mimic what many people expect from getting older, selenium deficiency often goes unrecognized for years. The scientific evidence for selenium's importance is compelling. This mineral serves as a cofactor for glutathione peroxidase, one of your body's most powerful antioxidant enzymes. Without adequate selenium, your blood vessels become more susceptible to oxidative damage, inflammation builds up in arterial walls, and the delicate endothelial cells that line your blood vessels begin to dysfunction. These are the same cells responsible for producing nitric oxide and maintaining healthy blood flow to all areas of your body, including the penis. Selenium also plays a direct role in testosterone production and thyroid function. Research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition shows that men with higher selenium levels have significantly higher testosterone levels and better sperm quality. The mineral is essential for the proper function of selenoproteins, which protect the cells in your testes and support healthy hormone synthesis. When selenium levels are low, testosterone production declines, and the hormonal support your cardiovascular system needs begins to fail. What's particularly concerning is how selenium deficiency creates a cascade of problems throughout your body. Low selenium levels lead to increased inflammation, which damages blood vessels and reduces circulation. Poor circulation then impairs the delivery of nutrients to hormone-producing organs, further reducing testosterone and other vital hormones. This creates a self-perpetuating cycle where deficiency leads to dysfunction, which leads to further deficiency. The physical consequences extend far beyond circulation and hormone issues. Men with selenium deficiency often experience increased susceptibility to infections, slower wound healing, muscle weakness, and an increased risk of cardiovascular disease. Their immune systems become less efficient, their recovery from physical stress takes longer, and they may notice their hair thinning or their skin becoming less healthy. Emotionally, selenium deficiency can contribute to mood changes, increased irritability, and a general sense of malaise that's difficult to pinpoint or explain. Men often describe feeling off or not quite right without being able to identify specific symptoms. This vague but persistent sense of decline can lead to frustration, anxiety about their health, and a gradual withdrawal from activities they once enjoyed. Brazil nuts provide the most concentrated and bioavailable source of selenium available in nature. Just one Brazil nut contains approximately 96 micrograms of selenium, which meets or exceeds the daily recommended intake for most adults. What makes Brazil nuts particularly effective is that the selenium they contain is in a highly absorbable form, bound to amino acids that your body can easily utilize. The beauty of using Brazil nuts to address selenium deficiency is the rapid response many men experience. Because selenium deficiency can develop gradually over years, correcting it can lead to noticeable improvements in energy, mental clarity, and circulation within just a few weeks. Men often report feeling more like themselves again, with improved stamina, better mood, and enhanced sexual response. However, timing and consistency matter when it comes to Brazil nuts, and even men who understand the importance of selenium often make critical errors in how they consume these powerful nuts. But knowing which nuts to eat is only half the battle. The fifth mistake that prevents men from seeing results is something most people never consider. They're eating their nuts in ways that actually destroy the very compounds that make them beneficial. The fifth mistake that sabotages men's results is something that seems almost too basic to matter. They're eating the wrong types of nuts in ways that destroy the very compounds they're trying to benefit from. This oversight is so common that I estimate it affects at least 80% of men who try to use nuts for health improvement. The most frequent error I encounter involves men purchasing heavily processed, salted, or flavored nuts from the snack aisle of their grocery store. These products may technically contain the same nuts we've been discussing, but the processing methods used to create them eliminate most of the beneficial compounds while adding ingredients that can actually worsen circulation and inflammation. When nuts are roasted at high temperatures, the delicate omega-3 fatty acids become damaged and can even turn rancid. The antioxidants that protect your blood vessels are heat sensitive and break down during commercial roasting processes. The L-arginine that supports nitric oxide production remains present, but becomes less bioavailable when nuts are processed with oils and salt. What you end up with is a product that tastes like the nuts you need, but provides a fraction of the therapeutic benefit. Salt-coated nuts create an additional problem for men trying to improve circulation. The excess sodium can contribute to blood pressure elevation and fluid retention, working directly against the cardiovascular benefits you're trying to achieve. Many commercially processed nuts also contain inflammatory oils like soybean or corn oil, which can increase inflammation in your arterial walls and counteract the anti-inflammatory effects of the nuts themselves. The physical consequences of eating processed nuts instead of raw ones are subtle but significant. Men often report trying nuts for several weeks without seeing improvement in energy, circulation, or sexual function. They conclude that the nutritional approach doesn't work for them, when in reality, they haven't been getting the active compounds their body needs to make the necessary changes. Beyond missing the therapeutic benefits, processed nuts can actually contribute to the problems you're trying to solve. The damaged fats, excess sodium, and inflammatory oils found in many commercial nut products can worsen circulation, increase oxidative stress, and contribute to the very vascular dysfunction that's causing intimacy and energy problems in the first place. Emotionally, this leads to discouragement and skepticism about natural approaches to health. Men who experience no improvement after weeks of eating what they believe are the right foods often feel frustrated and may give up on nutritional interventions entirely, returning to pharmaceutical options or simply accepting decline as inevitable. The solution requires being particular about nut selection and preparation. Raw, unsalted nuts provide maximum therapeutic benefit because they retain all their natural compounds in their most bioavailable forms. For walnuts, pistachios, and almonds, look for varieties that are truly raw or very lightly roasted without added oils or salt. The nuts should feel firm and fresh, not soft or stale, which indicates that their beneficial fats haven't deteriorated. Brazil nuts require special attention because they're often processed or may have been stored for long periods. Fresh Brazil nuts should have a clean, slightly sweet taste without any bitter or rancid notes. Because of their high selenium content, Brazil nuts can become toxic if consumed in large quantities, so quality and freshness are particularly important. Storage also matters significantly. Nuts contain oils that can become rancid when exposed to heat, light, or air for extended periods. Store your therapeutic nuts in airtight containers in the refrigerator and buy them in quantities you can consume within a month to ensure maximum potency. However, even men who select the highest quality nuts often undermine their results through the sixth mistake: inconsistency in daily consumption that prevents their body from building the sustained nutrient levels needed for vascular healing. Inconsistency represents the sixth obstacle that derails men's efforts to restore circulation and intimacy through nutrition. This mistake is particularly frustrating because it involves men who understand the science, purchase quality nuts, and genuinely want to improve their health, but fail to maintain the daily consistency that vascular healing requires. The pattern I observe most frequently involves what I call sporadic supplementation. Men will consume their therapeutic nuts religiously for several days or even weeks, then skip days when they're busy, traveling, or simply forget. They might eat large quantities on some days thinking they can make up for missed days, then go several days without any nuts at all. This approach treats nutritional therapy like taking occasional vitamins rather than recognizing it as a consistent healing protocol. The biochemical reality is that circulation improvement depends on maintaining steady levels of key nutrients in your bloodstream and tissues. L-arginine, the amino acid in walnuts that supports nitric oxide production, has a relatively short half-life in your body. When you consume it consistently, your blood vessels can maintain the steady nitric oxide production needed for healthy dilation and blood flow. But when intake becomes sporadic, these levels fluctuate dramatically, preventing the sustained vascular changes that lead to improvement. Similarly, the antioxidants in nuts that reduce arterial inflammation work best when present in consistent concentrations. Your blood vessels are constantly exposed to oxidative stress from normal metabolism, environmental factors, and aging. When antioxidant protection drops due to inconsistent intake, inflammation quickly returns to previous levels, undoing any progress that might have been made during periods of consistent consumption. The selenium from Brazil nuts presents an even more specific challenge. Because selenium becomes incorporated into selenoproteins that protect your cells and support hormone production, consistent daily intake is essential for maintaining optimal levels. Missing days allows selenium levels to drop, reducing the activity of these protective proteins and allowing oxidative damage to resume in your blood vessels and hormone-producing tissues. The physical consequences of inconsistent intake are subtle but significant. Men often report periods where they feel like they're making progress: better energy, improved morning erections, enhanced stamina, followed by returns to previous symptoms during periods of inconsistent consumption. This creates a frustrating cycle of improvement and regression that prevents the sustained healing necessary for lasting change. What makes this particularly discouraging is the emotional impact of inconsistent results. Men begin to doubt whether the nutritional approach is working at all. They may conclude that any improvements they experienced were coincidental or temporary, leading them to abandon the protocol entirely just when consistency might have produced breakthrough results. The solution requires treating your daily nut consumption as seriously as you would any prescribed medication. This means establishing a specific time each day for consumption and creating systems that support consistency even during busy periods or travel. Many men find success by preparing daily portions in advance, keeping nuts readily available in multiple locations, and linking nut consumption to established daily habits like morning coffee or evening meals. Timing optimization can enhance the benefits significantly. Consuming nuts earlier in the day provides your body with nutrients when testosterone production is naturally highest and when you're most likely to be physically active. The blood flow benefits of improved circulation support both physical performance and intimate function when nutrients are available during peak activity periods. Creating backup plans for disrupted routines is essential for long-term success. This might involve keeping individual portions of nuts in your car, office, or travel bag, or establishing alternative consumption times when your normal routine is interrupted. The goal is making consistency as effortless as possible while maintaining therapeutic dosing. However, even perfect consistency can be undermined by the seventh mistake: consuming inappropriate quantities that either provide insufficient therapeutic benefit or create unintended consequences that work against your goals. The seventh mistake that prevents men from achieving optimal results is portion control, specifically the tendency to consume excessive quantities of nuts, believing that more will produce faster or better results. This more is better mentality not only fails to enhance benefits, but often creates problems that work against the very improvements men are seeking. I regularly encounter men who report consuming large handfuls of mixed nuts throughout the day, sometimes totaling several hundred calories worth, under the assumption that increasing their intake will accelerate circulation improvement and enhance sexual function. This approach reflects a fundamental misunderstanding of how therapeutic nutrition works and can actually sabotage the results they're trying to achieve. The science of therapeutic dosing shows that nutrients have optimal ranges where they provide maximum benefit. With nuts, the beneficial compounds like L-arginine, selenium, magnesium, and healthy fats work most effectively within specific concentration ranges in your bloodstream. Consuming excessive amounts doesn't proportionally increase these benefits and can actually interfere with absorption and utilization of other important nutrients. Brazil nuts present a particularly clear example of why portion control matters. While one Brazil nut provides the optimal daily dose of selenium, consuming multiple Brazil nuts daily can lead to selenium toxicity, which causes symptoms like fatigue, irritability, and even hair loss, the opposite of what men are trying to achieve. Similarly, the high caloric density of nuts means that excessive consumption can easily add 300-500 calories per day to your diet without providing proportional health benefits. The physical consequences of excessive nut consumption often undermine circulation goals in unexpected ways. The added calories frequently lead to weight gain, particularly around the midsection, which increases inflammation throughout the body and can worsen circulation problems. Extra abdominal weight also increases pressure on blood vessels and can contribute to sleep apnea, which further compromises cardiovascular health and hormone production. Digestive issues represent another common consequence of excessive nut consumption. Large quantities of nuts can cause bloating, gas, and digestive discomfort that makes men feel sluggish and uncomfortable. The high fiber content, while beneficial in appropriate amounts, can overwhelm the digestive system when consumed excessively, leading to intestinal inflammation that can actually increase overall body inflammation. Emotionally, men who experience weight gain or digestive problems from excessive nut consumption often become discouraged and may abandon the nutritional approach entirely. They conclude that nuts don't work for them or that natural approaches to circulation improvement are ineffective, when in reality they simply exceeded the therapeutic dosing range. The solution requires precision in daily portions based on the specific therapeutic properties of each nut type. For walnuts, the optimal daily portion is approximately 1 ounce or about 14 halves, which provides therapeutic levels of L-arginine and omega-3 fatty acids without excessive calories. This amount delivers about 185 calories and provides the nutrients needed for nitric oxide production and arterial health. Pistachios should be consumed in portions of about 1 ounce or roughly 49 nuts daily. This provides optimal levels of arginine, antioxidants, and healthy fats for circulation support while keeping caloric intake reasonable. The key is choosing unsalted varieties to avoid the circulation-damaging effects of excess sodium. Almonds work best in portions of about 23 nuts or 1 ounce daily, providing therapeutic levels of magnesium, vitamin E, and monounsaturated fats without excessive calories. This portion supports both hormone production and vascular health while maintaining caloric balance. Brazil nuts require the most precise portioning due to their extremely high selenium content. 1 Brazil nut every other day, or half a Brazil nut daily, provides optimal selenium levels without risking toxicity. This seemingly small amount delivers powerful benefits for circulation, hormone production, and antioxidant protection. The total daily nut consumption using these therapeutic portions provides approximately 450 calories, which can easily be accommodated in a healthy diet while delivering maximum circulatory and hormonal benefits. This precise approach ensures that you receive optimal nutrient levels while avoiding the counterproductive effects of excessive consumption. Understanding these precise portions transforms nut consumption from random snacking into targeted nutritional therapy. When you provide your body with exactly what it needs in the right amounts, you create the optimal conditions for vascular healing, hormone optimization, and the restoration of natural sexual function that brings confidence and vitality back into your life. The 8th mistake that undermines men's efforts to restore circulation and sexual function is failing to address chronic inflammation, the hidden saboteur that can neutralize even the most perfectly executed nutritional protocols. This oversight is particularly frustrating because men may be doing everything else correctly, yet still struggle with limited results due to ongoing inflammatory processes they don't recognize or address. Chronic low-grade inflammation has reached epidemic proportions in men over 60, yet it often goes undetected because it doesn't cause obvious symptoms like acute inflammation does. Instead, it creates a persistent state of cellular stress that gradually damages blood vessels, impairs hormone production, and interferes with the very mechanisms that nuts are designed to support. Men experiencing chronic inflammation often describe feeling like they're fighting against something, even when following healthy protocols. The medical research on inflammation and erectile function reveals a clear connection that most men never consider. Inflammatory markers like C-reactive protein and interleukin-6 are consistently elevated in men with erectile dysfunction, even when other cardiovascular risk factors are controlled for. This inflammation damages the endothelial cells that line blood vessels, reducing their ability to produce nitric oxide and respond to the L-arginine from walnuts and pistachios. What makes chronic inflammation particularly insidious is how it creates a cascade of problems that compound over time. Inflammatory cytokines interfere with testosterone production in the testes, reduce the sensitivity of tissues to hormones that are produced, and accelerate the breakdown of nitric oxide before it can effectively dilate blood vessels. This means that even when men consume therapeutic amounts of circulation-supporting nuts, the benefits are being actively counteracted by ongoing inflammatory processes. Sources of chronic inflammation in men over 60 are often multiple and interconnected. Poor sleep quality, chronic stress, excess abdominal weight, insulin resistance, food sensitivities, and even dental problems can all contribute to systemic inflammation. Many men also consume pro-inflammatory foods regularly without realizing their impact. Processed meats, refined sugars, trans fats, and excessive omega-6 oils from processed foods all fuel inflammatory pathways. The physical consequences of unaddressed inflammation extend far beyond circulation problems. Men often experience persistent fatigue, joint stiffness, slower recovery from exercise, frequent minor illnesses, and a general sense that their body isn't healing or responding normally. their blood pressure may remain elevated despite other healthy interventions, and they may notice that cuts and bruises heal more slowly than they used to. Emotionally, chronic inflammation can contribute to mood changes, increased irritability, and cognitive symptoms like brain fog or difficulty concentrating. These effects compound the frustration men feel when their circulation-supporting efforts don't produce expected results, leading to discouragement and sometimes abandonment of nutritional approaches that could be effective if inflammation were properly addressed. The solution requires a two-pronged approach that combines the anti-inflammatory properties of specific nut combinations with targeted lifestyle modifications. The 4 nuts we've discussed each provide unique anti-inflammatory compounds, but their effects are maximized when inflammation is also reduced through other channels. Walnuts contain alpha-linolenic acid, an omega-3 fatty acid that directly counters inflammatory pathways, while their antioxidants protect blood vessels from inflammatory damage. Almonds provide vitamin E and magnesium, both of which have potent anti-inflammatory effects. Brazil nuts contribute selenium, which supports glutathione production, your body's master antioxidant system. Pistachios contain lutein and zeaxanthin, powerful antioxidants that reduce oxidative stress throughout the cardiovascular system. However, maximizing the anti-inflammatory benefits of nuts requires addressing other inflammation sources simultaneously. This includes prioritizing 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep nightly, since sleep deprivation dramatically increases inflammatory markers. Managing chronic stress through relaxation techniques, regular physical activity, or stress reduction practices helps lower cortisol levels that drive inflammation. Dietary modifications beyond nut consumption can significantly enhance anti-inflammatory effects. Reducing or eliminating processed foods, added sugars, and inflammatory oils, while increasing consumption of fatty fish, leafy greens, and colorful vegetables, creates an anti-inflammatory environment where the therapeutic compounds in nuts can work optimally. The timing of nut consumption can also influence anti-inflammatory benefits. Consuming nuts with meals helps stabilize blood sugar spikes that trigger inflammatory responses, while spacing consumption throughout the day maintains steady levels of anti-inflammatory compounds in your bloodstream. But even men who successfully address inflammation and perfect their nut consumption protocols can still fall short of their goals if they make the 9th mistake, focusing narrowly on sexual function while missing the broader circulation improvements that could transform their overall health and vitality. The 9th mistake that limits men's success with circulation-improving nutrition is tunnel vision, focusing exclusively on sexual function while missing the profound whole-body benefits that improved circulation can provide. This narrow perspective not only reduces motivation and consistency, but also prevents men from recognizing and capitalizing on the broader health improvements that could transform their overall quality of life. Many men approach circulation improvement with a single goal in mind: better erectile function. While this is certainly an important and valid concern, this limited focus causes them to overlook or dismiss other significant improvements they're experiencing. They may notice increased energy, better sleep, improved mental clarity, or enhanced physical stamina, but fail to connect these changes to their circulation-supporting nutrition, viewing them as coincidental rather than directly related benefits. The cardiovascular system doesn't operate in isolation. It's an integrated network that affects every organ and tissue in your body. When you improve blood flow through targeted nutrition, you're not just helping the blood vessels that support sexual function. You're enhancing circulation to your brain, muscles, heart, kidneys, and every other organ system. This comprehensive improvement creates a cascade of health benefits that extend far beyond the bedroom. Research in vascular medicine demonstrates that the same mechanisms that improve erectile function, enhanced nitric oxide production, reduced arterial inflammation, and improved endothelial function also support cognitive performance, physical endurance, cardiovascular health, and even immune function. Studies show that men with better overall circulation have sharper mental focus, more stable moods, better temperature regulation in their hands and feet, and improved recovery from physical exertion. The brain is particularly sensitive to circulation changes because it requires approximately 20% of your body's blood supply, despite representing only 2% of your body weight. When circulation improves through consistent nut consumption, many men experience better memory, clearer thinking, improved decision-making abilities, and reduced mental fatigue. These cognitive improvements often occur before sexual function changes become apparent, but men focused solely on erectile response may dismiss them as unrelated. Similarly, improved circulation to skeletal muscles enhances exercise performance, reduces recovery time, and can help maintain muscle mass that naturally declines with age. Better blood flow to the kidneys supports more efficient waste removal and blood pressure regulation. Enhanced circulation to the skin improves healing and can even affect appearance, as better nourished skin cells maintain their structure and function more effectively. The physical consequences of this narrow focus include missing opportunities for comprehensive health improvement. Men may experience significant gains in energy, endurance, and overall vitality, but fail to recognize or build upon these improvements because they're not the primary outcomes they're monitoring. This can lead to inconsistent adherence to their nutritional protocol during periods when sexual function improvements are subtle or gradual. Emotionally, the singular focus on sexual function can create unnecessary pressure and anxiety that actually interferes with the very improvements men are seeking. Sexual response is influenced by stress, expectations, and psychological factors as much as physical circulation. When men obsess over erectile function as the sole measure of success, they may create performance anxiety that counteracts the physical improvements their nutrition is providing. The solution involves adopting a comprehensive perspective on circulation health that recognizes and celebrates improvements across all body systems. This means paying attention to energy levels throughout the day, noticing improvements in mental clarity or focus, observing better exercise performance or recovery, and acknowledging better sleep quality or mood stability as legitimate and important benefits of improved circulation. Tracking multiple health markers creates a more complete picture of your progress and provides motivation during periods when sexual function improvements may be gradual. Many men find that when they stop fixating exclusively on erectile function and start appreciating whole-body improvements, their sexual response actually improves more rapidly, possibly due to reduced performance anxiety and increased overall confidence. This broader perspective also helps maintain long-term consistency with nutritional protocols. When men recognize that their daily nut consumption is supporting their brain function, energy levels, exercise performance, and overall vitality in addition to sexual health, they're more likely to maintain the consistency necessary for sustained benefits. Understanding circulation as a whole body system also helps men make better lifestyle choices that support their nutritional efforts. They become more motivated to engage in regular physical activity, manage stress effectively, prioritize quality sleep, and avoid habits that damage circulation when they understand how these factors affect their overall health and vitality rather than just sexual function. However, even men who embrace this comprehensive approach to circulation health face one final obstacle that can derail their long-term success: giving up too early when results don't match unrealistic expectations about how quickly vascular healing occurs. The final and perhaps most heartbreaking mistake I witness is men abandoning their circulation-supporting nutrition just when their bodies are beginning to respond. This premature discontinuation stems from unrealistic expectations about how quickly vascular healing occurs and represents the difference between temporary disappointment and life-changing transformation. The pattern is remarkably consistent. Men begin their targeted nut consumption with enthusiasm and commitment, maintain the protocol for 3 to 6 weeks, then become discouraged when they don't experience dramatic improvements in sexual function. What they don't realize is that meaningful vascular healing typically requires 3 to 6 months of consistent nutrition, and the most significant benefits often emerge during the second and third months of consistent consumption. This misconception about healing timeframes reflects our culture's expectation of immediate results, influenced by pharmaceutical interventions that can produce effects within hours. However, natural vascular healing works fundamentally differently from symptom suppression. While medications force temporary changes in blood vessel behavior, nutritional therapy supports your body's own repair mechanisms to restore normal function gradually and sustainably. The cellular biology of vascular healing explains why patience is essential for success. When you consume therapeutic amounts of circulation-supporting nuts, you're providing your blood vessels with the raw materials needed for repair, but the actual healing process takes time. Damaged endothelial cells must be replaced with healthy ones. Arterial walls need to regain flexibility through the gradual reduction of inflammation and plaque buildup. New capillaries may need to form to improve circulation to previously underserved tissues. Research on vascular improvement through nutritional intervention consistently shows that meaningful changes begin around 6 to 8 weeks and continue improving for months. Studies following men who consumed therapeutic amounts of nuts for circulation support found that while some men noticed energy improvements within 2 to 3 weeks, sexual function improvements typically became apparent between 8 to 12 weeks, with continued enhancement for up to 6 months. The physical consequences of premature discontinuation are particularly tragic because men often quit just as their bodies are beginning to respond. Many report experiencing subtle improvements: better energy, improved morning erections, enhanced exercise performance, but dismiss these early signs as coincidental or insufficient. They abandon their protocol without realizing that these early improvements often predict more significant changes that would have emerged with continued consistency. What makes this especially frustrating is that vascular damage accumulated over years or decades cannot realistically be reversed in a few weeks. Men who stop their nutritional protocol prematurely often return to their previous symptoms and may conclude that natural approaches are ineffective when in reality they simply didn't allow sufficient time for meaningful healing to occur. Emotionally, giving up too early creates a cycle of disappointment and skepticism that can prevent men from attempting natural healing approaches in the future. They may return to pharmaceutical solutions or simply accept decline as inevitable, missing the opportunity for genuine restoration of natural function that was within their reach. The solution requires adjusting expectations to align with the realities of natural healing while implementing tracking systems that help recognize and celebrate incremental progress. Understanding that vascular healing is a gradual process that unfolds over months rather than weeks helps maintain motivation during periods when dramatic changes aren't immediately apparent.